Welcome to Old Poway Park. For the next 30 minutes, you're going to learn a lot more about the city of Poway. You'll hear about the city's award-winning schools, why residents are so proud to call this city home, and you'll hear from the city's leaders. I'm Courtney Dwyer. More about Poway, the city in the country. That's coming up next on Cox San Diego Connection. We are here at Old Poway Park, a beautiful spot here in the city of Poway. My first guest, Mayor Steve Voss. Hello, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming out.
They call Poway the city in the country. It seems fitting that the mayor of Poway, his signature, a cowboy hat. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, I grew up on a cattle ranch in Grants Pass, Oregon, and it's always been pretty much part of who I am, and just worked out that way.
Worked out that way. You've been in office now for 6 months. Congratulations. How's everything going so far?
You know, I'm loving it. We've got a great council. We work well together. You compare us to other cities, and you know, in other cities there's a bunch of rabble-rousers on councils, and we work well in a collaborative way, very congenial atmosphere, and we get things done.
You get things done. That's what it's all about. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about safety here in the city of Poway. One of the safest, if not the safest city in the county of San Diego, based on statistics. That's pretty impressive, and it's got to make you feel good to hear that.
It does. It's an important fact of life for the people that live in Poway. They put safety first, and so we do as a city, and we are the safest incorporated city in the county, beating the next closest competition by 34%. And I think that's partly because we make sure that the Sheriff's Department has the tools and the support they need here, and we also give them the recognition for doing a job well, and we're proud of that relationship and thankful for it.
That is an important relationship to have. Volunteerism in Poway, you know, you talk to people who live here, they're proud to be here, they're proud to live here, and they say it has a lot to do with just the communication between citizens and the fact that everybody they come out to support one another.
They really do. People that live in Poway are personally invested in Poway. Several years ago we had a youngster go missing. Thousands of people turned out within hours to help with the search. When we have a wildfire, folks will be out there fighting that fire with pickup trucks and garden hoses. But it's also on a day-to-day basis as well. We have our reserve park rangers that keep these parks and trails and open space in such pristine condition. We have our senior volunteer patrol that are always out there working side by side with the sheriffs. You know, volunteerism, that's just who Poway is. It's in our DNA, really.
That's a good thing to have in your DNA.
You bet it is.
You know, something else that's very exciting here in Poway is business. Business is booming. Talk a little bit about that. You know,
Poway has historically laid out the welcome mat for business, and it hasn't changed today. Our founding father, so to speak, in Poway had the wisdom to put in a beautiful business park up on the hill. It's great because it's hidden from the residential areas, but we've got industry leaders up there. General Atomics, you know, they make their drones right up there on the hill with about 5,000 employees. Geico with just under 2,000 employees. We have innovators in energy, in automotive, so a great blend of businesses that love to call Poway home, and we love to have them here.
Recreation opportunities. I mean, you just walk around Poway, you see the trails, you see the parks. That's something that I know people who live here absolutely love.
We are really serious about play in Poway, whether it's Lake Poway, a beautiful setting up there with trails that go around it, 55 miles of trails, Old Poway Park here just across the street, Aubrey Park ball fields, more open space, relatively speaking, than any other city in the county. So, like I said, we take recreation very seriously.
Do you have a particular favorite trail that you visit a lot?
No, there's so many of them.
Too many to pick from, right?
There really are, and the trails are great because it's not only for somebody like me that loves to go horseback riding, but mountain bikers are out there, you know, hikers are out there, bird watchers. There's something for everybody in Poway.
I like that. Hey, a water challenge is happening right now here in the city of Poway. We talk about water a lot right now, given our current drought situation. What are you guys doing to help residents try and conserve as much water as possible?
Well, we've just wrapped up the Weiland Foundation Challenge. It's a nationwide challenge for residents in various cities to pledge to save water. And last time I saw it, we were #1 in the nation with like-sized cities. And there again, that's just the Poway way of doing things. People step up for the challenge. But day in and day out, we're looking for ways that we can not only tell the story of what needs to happen with water conservation, but really encourage and inspire people to take part, be part of the solution. Every council meeting we end with, I always share a water saving tip, and it can be something as mundane as putting a bucket in your shower and using that to water your flowers, or somebody sent one in where they said, women don't have to wash their hair every day and take those longer showers.
Hey now.
So it takes all forms. It's all those cups of water add up to gallons and gallons, and we're going to make a difference. We're going to get it done.
Anything big happening this summer that you want to talk to people about happening here in the city of Poway?
We actually have a great event coming up this summer where we're going to be a host town for 2 foreign countries that are coming to the Special Olympics in Los Angeles. This summer we're going to host, I believe, from Ecuador and Togo. All of the Special Olympic athletes from those countries and their support teams are going to come and get to experience Poway, and we're going to love them up.
That's great. I'm sure people can find out more about that on the city's website, right?
Poway.org.
Well, Mayor Steve Voss, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. And anything else you want to add before we wrap things up? No,
just if you're not familiar with Poway, come and visit us. We think you'll like what you see a whole lot.
All right. Well, always nice to see you. Thank you again for taking time to spend it with us this morning. All right. City Manager Dan Singer joins us next. More about the city of Poway right after this.
Hello, I'm Cian Guerra here at the Cox Solutions Store, and today we're joined by Rylan Madison, Director of Marketing for Cox Communications, who's going to show us some quick tips on how to navigate through our guide. Rylan, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cian.
So there's a great way that customers may not know about that could help them navigate through all of the programming through their guide. Tell us about that.
Sure. So on your remote control, you have a lot of buttons. But there's an easier way to get to many of the common used functions. You simply press the left navigation button and it brings up this quick menu guide. And from here you can easily get to the guide and see what's playing on your TV set. On demand, so movies, also free content, My Prime Time, DVR list, recorded shows that you've recorded, recommendations, shows that it thinks that you may like to watch. Also search, some interactive services, settings to set up your Contour receiver, and customer support. All right here without having to take your eye off your TV set.
What a great tip, Ryland, especially when you're in a room with some dim lighting. Thank you so much. And for more tips like that, go to cox.com.
Welcome back to Old Poway Park. Our next guest really does know the ins and outs, literally, of the city of Poway. We welcome City Manager Dan Singer. Thank you so much for being here with us. 11 months on the job, and you say things are going very well, right?
They are. It's a great community, a lot of stable aspects to the life here, and job's been good. Good,
good. Glad to hear that. A new focus for you guys right now is economic development. What makes that such a big focus for you guys right now?
Well, when the city lost its redevelopment agency, which happened throughout the state, it was clear, I think, to our elected officials and our staff that we had an opportunity to turn to how we support our business base. And so we hired an economic development manager. He's been with us about 1.5 years and is making great strides and really connecting us with the business community a lot more than government is often used to.
You know, that's something that I think a lot of people who live here, who have businesses here, that matters a lot, that communication between small businesses, and not just small businesses, but businesses in general and the city. How do you keep that communication open right now, and how do you try and improve that?
Well, it's a challenge. Businesses are busy doing their thing, we're busy doing our thing, and creating that open line of communication is something that we're striving for. We've focused a lot on the existing organizations that kind of help us bridge that communication. So the Chamber of Commerce, the Regional Economic Development Collaborative, we have a Poway Business Park Association, and we've not only become members of those organizations, but our economic development manager is even sitting on some of those boards, and really looking at ways that we can be supportive of our businesses. And we've seen some great opportunities. We've supported a few businesses recently in them achieving bond funds, going after grants, and just being there to be responsive to their needs.
I've heard about your outreach meetings too. How do those work, and how are those, how is the impact of that?
Well, I don't think we've gotten any negative feedback.
Good.
Anytime that government gets out of the walls of City Hall and out, on the street or interacting with our business community, just like we do with our residents, I think that's always perceived as a really helpful thing because it opens up that opportunity for dialogue.
Growth and expansion, those are two words everybody likes to hear. And, something you guys are really working on right now. How are you doing that?
Poway is primarily built out, so we don't have opportunities for extensive growth. For us, it's about identifying where those pockets are that can still be either developed or improved. And we've been fortunate to see some reinvestment these last few years, most notably the development of a new Lowe's center, Perry Ford expanding by over 10,000 square feet, the Walmart in town adding 35,000 square feet. So we're seeing some reinvestment and we're trying to help that along. We're quite excited about an ice skating rink opening up in the business park and the practice facility for the Gulls. So these things are things that take time, and they're nurtured by our economic development manager and the council's willingness to support businesses. But it's not like there's a big roadmap or a master plan for how this is going to play out, because we're really essentially near our growth capacity.
Infrastructure, service levels. We talked a little bit with the mayor about this being the safest city in the county of San Diego based on some statistics that came out recently. How do you guys maintain, all the good things we're hearing about Poway?
Well, I think two things. The first is we have stable economics. We've got a good tax base, and our elected officials and staff have managed our finances really responsibly. And we're continuing to do that. I wouldn't see changing that course. The second thing is that we've had good leadership in our council and in our community to make sure that we have kept as a priority things like keeping up our roads, having outstanding parks and trails, supporting our school district and being one of the best in the state. And really it becomes like the trifecta of the perfect place to live is you have great recreational opportunities for our families and our residents. You've got good economics and you've got great schools. Coupled with the fact that we're the safest city in the county, that's like icing on the cake.
It is,
for us. And so we make a commitment first and foremost to keeping those things up, investing first in that before we start going off and doing other things.
I want to talk a little bit about water conservation, a big thing for the city of Poway, really for every city in the state of California right now. What exactly are you doing as a city manager to try and help residents, try and help businesses really learn the importance of conserving water right now?
There's a lot we're doing. There's a lot more that we'll be doing because we're really now at the start of an education campaign within the community about how important it is that we all work together to conserve. The new state mandates are being placed not just on us as a water agency, but really on the whole community, because if we're assessed fines or we don't meet our goals, the impacts will be felt by all of our customers. So we're reinvesting in our own infrastructure in ways that allows for greater conservation, like changing out fixtures and faucets, doing simple things, what I'd call the low-hanging fruit. We're also looking at larger scale projects, like looking at water reclamation, whether there's any well water, whether there's synthetic turf that we should be looking at for some of our parks. Because one of our challenges isn't just lowering consumers' use of water, it's also essentially lowering our need for water. So the result is still the same, but how you approach the problem is different. We have to approach it both ways. We have to look for sustainable ways to make sure that our demand for water is reduced. And that's what our staff is busy doing. But in addition, we're investing in incentive programs for residents. rebate programs. We allow for free audits for businesses and residences to go out and actually bring in an expert to look at their property for free and say, hey, you could be doing this differently, you need to change this out, and here's a way, here are ways that you can reduce.
That's great. City Manager Dan Singer, anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say that we're proud of the accomplishments we've had, but we're also here to improve. And so as citizens and residents are watching this, we want to hear from you. We want to know what we can be doing better and how we can make this an even better place.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for
My
everything you
pleasure.
shared with us. All right, still ahead, business is booming in Poway. We're going to talk about that coming up next.
Oh my God. God. Oh. Uh-oh. Ow. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Oh God. Oh. Oh. Oh God.
Same Old Sam, brand new shows.
Welcome back to Old Poway Park. Our next guest, Dolores Canizales, President and CEO of the Poway Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here in one of the most beautiful spots, in my opinion, of all of Poway. And we're going to talk a little bit about business. That's a big focus, obviously, for you. Talk about business in Poway right now. I've heard the word booming used. It's a good time for people here, right?
It is a good time. As everybody knows, we've had years of recession, tough time for a lot of businesses, but now you really see light at the end of the tunnel. We hear from businesses that they are busier than ever. Those particular businesses that really took the time to develop relationships during the slower times and possibly had to reinvent themselves are really reaping the benefits. So we're really excited about potential for business and business growth in Poway.
What is the focus for the Chamber right now?
Our focus has been in developing those relationships, not only among our members and creating opportunities for them to get to know each other. We also focus a lot on business development, business growth, education. In the last couple of years, we've really focused on technology because we find that technology is changing, everything's changing. So we started to develop a program, a marketing program that's really geared towards Google and Facebook and Twitter and social media and website development and all of the above. And we find that our businesses are really learning about how to use technology to improve their business. We're especially thrilled that Cox has made the investment at the business park. We heard from a lot of our businesses that connectivity is so important up in that area. And so we're really pleased that you're bringing connectivity to a lot of those businesses.
Expanding its fiber optic network, and that kind of goes along with technology in general. How will that benefit the people that are up there in your business park?
Well, I think that as more businesses are learning about technology, they're understanding how to reinvent their organization and to use technology in a different way that's never been used before. And so the Poway Chamber really tries to provide education about new ways to conduct business in this area.
What does the future look like when you guys talk about 5-10 years out, when you're talking, you know, about the Chamber and about business in Poway? What does the picture look like for you guys?
Well, I think, as I mentioned, it's been a tough time. The Chamber is in a very unique position right now to really help businesses grow, to help in the area of economic development, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about workforce development, but really I think traditionally the Poway Chamber has been a place where people come together and meet and do business with each other. But the future of the Chamber really has to be in economic development, in the betterment of the entire community, not just the business community. And to that end, we are changing our bylaws and expanding our board to include somebody from the Green Valley Civic Association, which is a homeowners group. And we're also including someone from Poway Unified School District in workforce development. to bring sort of different voices to the table so that we could really focus on the entire community of Poway, in addition to the business community.
Workforce development, we're going to talk a little bit more about that right now. And you're really reaching out to maybe people, kids, I should say, who are graduating. You want to keep a lot of the people who maybe were born and raised in Poway, want to have a family here one day. You want to make sure that they feel like they can stay here and get a job, right?
Absolutely. There are a lot of opportunities for employment here in Poway. The key is to match business needs with Poway Unified School District, honestly. And just yesterday I met with some of the folks at Poway Unified School District who will be more involved with the Poway Chamber. We will start to look and do an assessment of what the needs are and make sure that the students are poised and ready for the opportunities that exist here. A lot of that is just about making those connections, about having conversations, and I'm really excited that the Poway Chamber is going to be working with Poway USD on creating that conversation and seeing where we could even develop possibly some pilot programs.
Yeah, that's great. A new study going on Poway Road, something that you think is a big deal for the citizens here, right?
For me personally, it's very exciting because I've been involved in economic development and community development in my previous positions. But yes, there's an 18-month study that's being conducted by the city of Poway to look at Poway Road and how to make it more business friendly, to attract visitors from all over the county. And the study is just beginning, and so I would encourage residents who are watching the show to keep your eyes and ears open for workshops that will be happening this summer and throughout the next 18 months. It'll be a great opportunity to get community feedback about what the future of Poway Road should look like.
Dolores, always nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your time today.
All right, more on Poway's award-winning schools. That's coming up next.
We're getting the band back together. Come join us on Channel 4 San Diego for all new episodes of me, Sam the Cooking Guy.
Also, brand new, fascinating Forefront interviews. And revisit sports legends one-on-one.
The local shows you love are back and better than ever.
Come join us every afternoon on Channel 4 San Diego.
And why are you guys in my kitchen?
We couldn't stay away. And neither should you.
Welcome back to Old Poway Park. Something people that live here are very proud of are the schools in this area. We welcome Superintendent Dr. John Collins to talk more about the schools here in Poway. Kind of appropriate that we have children playing here at Old Poway Park today, right? I have to ask, what does it mean to you to be the superintendent of such a powerful and such a well-known school district?
Well, first of all, obviously it's very humbling. It's an honor and a privilege to serve in this capacity and to lead such a great organization. I've been with the district for 26 years, and now to be for the last 4, actually this is my 5th year as superintendent, is just been tremendous.
Congratulations on that. Poway schools, they have a great reputation. You've been in the business for a long time, probably watching the growth. What is it? What does Poway do so well? Why do the schools continue to win so many awards and really, make such an impact in the rest of the county?
I think the answer to that I always give is easy, but takes a little explanation. And what makes Poway so great is the people. And I mean that sincerely. It's the people who work in the district, it's the kids that we serve, it's the parents we serve, it's the community and the cities that support us, like the city of Poway. All of that combined just creates a phenomenal place to be, and it's all about relationships and trust and working together, all focused on one thing, and that's what's best for our kids.
Any big changes happening in the Poway Unified School District at this time during this school year?
Well, we've had a change in the board, which is a major change, and that always makes, for some adjustments. And but as far as big change, it's really more a focus on the ongoing change, working towards implementation of the new state standards for all of our kids, the professional growth for our teachers, the things that we've been committed to forever. It's just continuing that great work. It's no major change other than changing with the times and knowing that our kids are different than they were 20 years ago, and what's expected of them in the real world is different. And so it means we have to change along with that, and how we teach, what we teach, and in preparing our staff to do a great job.
That was my next question. How is education changing as a whole, not just for Poway? And you know, when we talked about this, we talked a little bit about technology and kind of just changing the way we teach. How does that, I mean, is that challenging your staff right now?
It is a challenge, but it's one that we've been dealing with. I mean, it's not a new challenge. We've been dealing with it for a long time. It's actually, we're at a point now where the technology is so pervasive that it's actually making a bigger impact on how we teach. But the biggest impact, or the biggest change in how we teach, is really about how we prepare our kids for what's next. Because the 21st century is very different than what we're used to in terms of what our kids need to be prepared and be successful, both in college and in career. And it's more about, because of the technology, we now have the ability to do a better job of personalizing that education. It's no longer has to be the factory model. You know, I think with the technology helping us, we can personalize that education. So I always say to the staff, it's not about the technology, and yet it's all about the technology because the technology is allowing us to do business differently.
Yeah. Any big events or anything big you want the people of Poway to know about for the next few months coming up?
I think, you know, we continue to have, I just found out that one of our schools has been selected as a Golden State Award winner, Meadowbrook Middle School, which is here in Poway.
Yeah.
But that happens every year.
Yeah.
Our schools are well recognized. We have great leaders at our schools. And what I'm most proud of is our kids. You know, you walk on any one of our campuses, and even at the earliest ages, our kids engage with adults in ways that are just amazing. But our high school kids, they're so respectful. The kids are just phenomenal here. So what makes this great is that we've got great kids, great parents, we do good work, and that attracts great kids and great parents, and they support us. And it's that support that allows us to continue. We're one of the lowest, we are the lowest funded district in the county.
Really?
Yeah, people don't normally realize that.
That's got to be a challenge.
It is a challenge. It's an affluent community in many ways, but we have a very diverse community as well. And funding is not based on that, it's based on different things, and we've always been a low wealth district in terms of the funding we receive from the state. So without the support of the city of Poway is one great example. They have done tremendous things helping us provide for the schools in the city of Poway, resources and talent and volunteering and just so many different ways. But it's true throughout the district. It's to support the parents, the community. They make up for that difference. So even despite that low wealth funding, our kids get a phenomenal education.
That's important. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
No, I think that's it, other than to say that I know this features about the city of Poway. The Poway Unified School District has grown tremendously since we started.
Yeah, it doesn't just serve Poway anymore.
Right, right. We like the name, and it's a good brand, so we haven't certainly changed that. But only about a third of our kids live in the city of Poway. 2/3 live outside of Poway. But we haven't lost our roots or our connection with the city of Poway. It's a phenomenal place to live and to work. And our relationships with the city council and the mayor and the city manager have always been very, very positive, as well as obviously the people who live here in Poway.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. We know you are very, very busy, especially this time of year, so we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Nice talking with you.
That's going to do it for us here in the city of Poway, Old Poway Park. Thank you so much for joining us. For more on this show, you can go to our website, 4sd.com.